All right, everybody, welcome to the Sunday night Hunt, Fish, Adapt Live. Give people a few minutes to jump on here. That 30 seconds must have been a killer. I have no idea. The first time I went live, this setup was completely different. And this time, it is not the same. So I have no clue what's going on. Sup, Roy? And for some reason, my microphone audio test does not show up in the preview anymore. I guess the YouTubes want you to work just a little bit harder. I ain't gonna lie, Roy, we're tired. We spent all day yesterday working outside, doing some spring stuff, and then we went kayak fishing today. And we had 15, 20, 25-mile-an-hour gusts. So, needless to say, the kayak trip was not that great. But it was pretty. It was 82, 83 degrees here today in Tennessee. I'm still trying to hydrate. Yeah, that's what I did yesterday. I did some trailer maintenance, getting it cleaned up so I can paint it and put some carpet on it. And this week I am tearing into the kayak wiring and lights and battery. Yeah, we're getting a early warm spout here, Stormy, but it's supposed to be cold next weekend. We got a long weekend for Good Friday, and it's supposed to be highs in the 50s, lows in the 20s and 30s again. Roy, my guest, are my biggest supporters, which is you all. I haven't started scheduling anybody on my Sunday night lives. I've just kind of been using this for just a quick recap and talk anything about hunting, fishing, and adapting. And Stormy, I promise I'll get on your 3D prints. I was finishing printing some fishing rod holders, and I got home today and they were scattered all in the floor. So I don't know what happened to my print, but it malfunctioned and it looked like somebody had completely obliterated my filament. Sup, Greg? You been making fishing structures today, Greg? But I'll get on those tomorrow, Stormy, I promise. Oh, that is right. You were heading to Florida. I bet you took some fishing equipment with you too, didn't you? Yeah, we're starting to get into the no pickleball gear. So, oh, it's a pickleball vacation. You got to take some rod and reels when you go to Florida. But yeah, the weather around here is going to be pretty during the week and nasty on the weekends. It actually rained last night. We got on top of the mountain. We went to it's a lake on top of a mountain, and it was 52 degrees. Just had a little bit of a breeze, and all of a sudden, you would thought we were in a Twister movie. I decided I took my Bigsby motor, and at the last minute, I decided I didn't put it on because it's not that big of a lake. Bad idea. We had gale force winds, and I was all the way down the lake trying to paddle back. It took forever. That'll never happen again. I'd have jumped in there and show them how it's done. If you're gonna hook one, you gotta get it in and get it off. Peacock, not pickle. Hey, there you go. Get some new subs. I find out hanging out at Academy Sports helps. I'm gonna have to go back to Academy more often. Just go in and browse around. Yeah, Roy, it's the same here. We got a lot of people having allergy problems. Pollen is really bad. I mowed Friday evening and I stirred everything up. Go kayak fishing for orca. All right. If anybody's watching my live stream, go check out GP Outdoors One, Greg. He's a good dude. We talked on the phone the other night. We've been actually talking for about the last year. So go hit him up and subscribe to his channel. He's a really cool guy. And he makes some really cool fishing structures too. So he got a little side gig where he's making fishing structures that he's selling. So you need to go check those out if you're needing fishing structures. That's your guy right there. What's funny, Greg, is today where we were fishing, they have the same type of structures in this lake. It's a man made lake on top of a mountain, and it is steep as all get out to get to. I took some footage today leaving the boat ramp coming off the mountain. So when you see the video, you'll see how high it is up there. But they made this lake and they put all kind of fishing structure. It's not real deep. I think the deepest part is 15, 20 foot deep. But almost everywhere I fished today, I could see the bottom. And they've got pipes and all these structures sticking out everywhere. So you definitely got to use a lot of weedless setups there. Yes, I am actually working on two of the videos from Relaxed Retreat. I had 90 gigabytes worth of footage from 2 days that I'm sifting through. I'm still trying to decide if I'm going to do a video and do a voiceover style video or if I'm just going to roll with how I recorded it. So I haven't made up my mind yet. But since I got the opportunity to go, I want to make sure that it's polished good. So I might wind up doing two different videos and see which one looks the best. Yeah, you took a lot of pictures that Saturday. So I would say you have got a lot to sift through. I know the one you sent me, that's been my favorite kayak fishing photo so far. So is there plans to do this one again, Roy, or is this was that one enough? I think I think that video went really, really good to be on. I mean, the weekend went really, really good to be honest with you. Yeah, it'd be cool if it was a yearly thing. I know I've talked to Catfish Carrie quite a bit since that weekend. Her and her husband, they're super nice, super great people. I've talked to Chris Platts quite a few times. I've actually talked to Chris at Relaxed Retreat. We're booking a trip for June to go back and stay 3 or 4 days. And we're going to take the yaks, go fishing, and get a little bit more extended stay. So it was a super great place. I want to go back and do a little bit more in-depth review of the whole facility. I just felt like didn't have enough time to capture everything with the time frame I was on. So I want to go back and do it justice and do a good review for them. Well, Greg, the lights on the yak are about where they were the other day. They're still in the box. I spent yesterday drilling some holes in the kayak because I'm putting a pulley system. Well, I'm going to try to figure out how to pull a pulley system on it to get my kayak in if I'm by myself without ever having to wade in the water. So I just ordered some Amazon pulley style cables that I'm going to hook to the bow of the kayak. And if I can get this right, then I'll be able to pull it dead center and get it up on the PVC bunks. And then I can just pull forward and then lock everything down, then get off the ramp and get out of the way. So a little bit of trial and error with that, but I think I can get it. But I did find, as a backup plan, I did a lot of research and I found they're called industrial boot covers. So they're like these plastic thick, they're 3 mil covers that go over your boots, but they come up almost to your knees. So my thought process was I'll stick these over my prosthetic feet, put them inside the shoe, and I'll just have a pair of shoes that I use for water shoes. And then if I need to, I can kind of wade out in the water up to my knees and get my kayak on the trailer that way. Today, it was so windy, that system or any system would have not worked. It was that windy. What we wound up doing is just pulling them up on the bank and loading them on the trailer ourselves. Um, and those shear waters ain't light with those seats. So that plan is going to come in really quick. But back to your question, Greg, that is my plan this week now that we're getting daylight till 8, almost 8:30 is I'm getting it finished this week because I got a kayak tournament that is local here on April the 11th. So I got to have my lights and everything on by then. Hey, that trailer, that's what I tell people. $75 and just a little bit of PVC and wood I got in it. She ain't pretty, but she does the job. Pull you up. So Stormy, some of the ramps we have here, they're they're either on a very low grade incline or they're very, very steep. So here's what I found out. On the ramps that are on a steeper incline, it is easier to load the yak on the trailer because you don't have to pull down in the water as far. When that ramp just goes out forever, like today, I had to back up until the tailpipes were underneath the water. So we had to back way down in there just to get them off of the PVC bunks. I don't know about winning, Greg. So I missed first two rounds, which I knew I was going to miss last weekend being at the retreat, but that was okay because that video coming out, I got my PB in South Carolina, and I really wanted to go because the opportunity to review the cabin. So, and then the first one I missed because it was in February, and we've had a horrible weather. So round 3 is on a river, and I've never river fished. So I've been reaching out to Chris. He's a river guru, so he's giving me some pointers, and then a couple of guys in the group for the tournament have actually talked to me and gave me some pointers. So my biggest concern was never fishing a river before. I'm trying to figure out how shallow it is, how fast the current is, because I just don't want to get myself in a bad situation first time fishing on a river, especially on a tournament. I don't want to put anybody else out or have trouble and ruin anybody else's day. So I've been trying to figure out locations because the way this one's set up, 2 days before they give you the areas that you can fish in, and you've got the boundaries that you got to stay in. So I'm just trying to figure out with the boundaries where would be the best place to go and then make the best of it. So I've done a lot of research on the Holston River, and it's massive. So done a lot of research trying to figure out one particular area one of the guys told me about. It's got a boat ramp, and he said if there was other guys fishing there, they would help out, which I'm sure they would. I mean, in the kayak industry, we help each other out. That's what we do. So as long as we got good weather, I'm going. Worst case scenario, I hit some fast currents, and it's going to be like that Kevin Bacon movie back in the day when he was the guide on the river going down the rapids. Can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but that would be me river fishing for the first time, getting into fast currents. That's what I'm trying to avoid. So you gonna do any fishing at all, Greg, while you're down there? Or are you just going to chill out for a week? No fishing. I've been deep sea fishing twice, and I'll tell you, I really enjoyed it. Now, the one we did, it was one of those rodeo style where there was like 30 people on the boat. They take you to a spot and you just drop your line over and you fish for 15, 20 minutes there. And then you got 30, 45-minute drive to the next spot. Um, it was kind of chaotic, but my cousin has got his own boat and they run a fishing charter in North Carolina. So I'm going to get up with him and I'm going to try to do a fishing charter in North Carolina sometime this summer. Wow, it's a long time. Stormy, Roy, if you're still in here, have you all ever been deep sea fishing? So, what's the biggest fish you all have ever caught deep sea fishing? I think mine was a 5 or 6 pound red snapper. There was a guy caught a grouper on that trip. We were actually late getting to our next spot because it took him forever to get it in. I bet that yellow fin tuna was fun to pull in. A minute 25. Did you have that Shimano speed reel going? When we go to Florida, I'm not gonna lie, I like to fish off the pier. I just like seeing if we can catch anything big off the pier and try to get it up 30, 40 foot from the water. Oh, an hour and 25 minutes. Sorry, my eyesight is bad tonight. All I seen was 125. I bet after you spend an hour, almost an hour and a half pulling in a fish, I bet you don't want to drop another one off side. What I usually hope is there's people there that have a drop net. I don't have really any deep sea offshore fishing stuff. Usually, if I go, I just rent the gear there at the pier and get bait. Yeah, I thought we went. The wife went with me today. It was the first time on a kayak, and the wind was not forgiving. She was using the X drive on the Shearwater, the pedal drive, and she pedaled nonstop, fighting the wind. And I could not stay in one spot long enough to try to get on fish. I tried just going with the wind and floating, and it would just blow me in every direction. I felt like all I did today was have a paddle in my hand, and I was able to get on a few today using the old frog. When you go up to that place, that is all you hear is frogs, and the water setup is good for frogs, but catch a lot of smalls there. So it is dink infested. They say a place up there used to be really really good, and it's got some pike, bass, largemouth, smallmouth, bluegill, sunbirch, whatever you want to call it, and catfish. But the last few times we fished up there, we've been lucky if we've caught one or two. And I think what happens is you get people up there and they don't catch and release, and it gets depleted really, really quick. I don't know how well they manage that with fish, but it's not a massive big lake, and I think it's a couple miles long on top of a mountain. But they have head and tail disease. But yeah, we didn't stay too long today because the longer we stayed, the worse the wind was getting, to the point where you couldn't even cast today. And I had enough wind knots and tree snags that I probably shouldn't have any more the rest of the season. I think I got them all out in one trip today. It's too close to their tail. Yeah, you ain't a kidding. But yeah, I floated all the way down the lake. My plan was just use the wind. I was gonna float down, fish one side instead of trying to constant paddle into the wind. And the the wife had she had kind of docked and went back to the truck, and well, I decided I was gonna go ahead and go back. This was 11:30, almost 12, and when I was on my way back, she got back in. Well, there was some dudes on the boat ramp. So it was us and these two people, well, three people that pulled in. One of them had a native kayak, and the other one was a canoe style. But it took me about 10 minutes to paddle from where I was at back up to the boat ramp. And I got up there, and they had decided to unload their kayaks on the boat ramp. They had their truck parked right in front of their kayaks, and they were setting up all their gear on the boat ramp. They were tying on lures, putting chairs in. I waited forever for them people to get their kayaks in the water and get off the boat ramp so we could get out of the water. I actually wound up just side skirting the boat ramp altogether and getting off on the side of the bank. And they still were just getting in the water. Um, Common sense would probably tell you boat ramps, you put your boat or your yak in, pull it over to the side, and you get off the ramp. Should be a no brainer. But evidently, some people just do not realize there's a little bit of etiquette that goes in to fishing. I decided to give them a pass. I ain't gonna lie though, I did record it. Maybe a short coming up about it, or a TikTok. So just found out this week. I know some of you know that I will be going to ICAST this year. So July we will be Florida bound. Got to make sure I got my walking legs because gonna be a lot of walking. Yeah, it'll be an educational. It'll be an educational video. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to the ICAST thing. I watched it last year when videos were coming out. I just think it'll be a cool experience. I know some people complain about it, but I guess if you've went for years and it's kind of the same thing, I could maybe see their point. But for me, I've never been, so I'm looking forward to it. Really interested to see how the little ponds they have there with all the kayaks and all the equipment. I'm just curious of how crazy busy that place is going to be. And I'm dehydrated bad today, so you have to look over me drinking so much water. I'm trying to get my water in before I go to bed. But yeah, I'm hoping maybe to get an evening in here or there. A little bit of fishing in Florida. Anyone in particular you're going to see? No, everybody. I'm gonna have a backpack full of camera batteries, power banks. I'm going to record everything. So I'm just really curious how it's all laid out. Just the whole process. So I'll just probably record all day long. Then I'm just going to highlight some videos and new products coming out. I'll do teasers on those, then I'll just tie it into a video. So my plan is to every evening when I get done is just post some shorts about different stuff. Then when I get back, I'll start going through all the videos and I'll start making some in detailed videos of iCast. After being there all day long, I don't want to stay up all night video editing. So I'll just do some shorter videos, get them out so people can see what's going on at iCast this year. If you jump in the chat, just drop a message if you've never been on the live before, where you're from. So the first this week I found out, finally, took forever, that I got into the creator program. So I was able to eventually this week go in and set up my memberships. So I've got two tiers of membership. One is $2.99 and one is $4.99. So if anybody wants to subscribe to the membership, I'm going to have some cool videos that will be member only videos. And any support that I get from that goes right back into my channel. Now I'm just grinding for that last part so YouTube can start sending me some money eventually. Is anybody in the group that's in here? Does anybody turkey hunt? We got any turkey hunters in here? Money, what's that? Yeah, I wouldn't know because I haven't earned any yet. All I'm doing is spending earnings that I haven't got. So I'll tell you a funny story real fast. We got back from fishing today, and we took the wife's little convertible Mini Cooper out. We went by and visited her mom, took her some stuff, and then we decided to go to Sam's Club. So we had a top down, and we had planned to go in and grab a few things. Well, you know how it is when you go to Sam's Club. A few things turned into multiple few things. And I don't know if you've ever been in a Mini Cooper before, but the trunk space is very, very small. And the back seat is just as small. So we got some stuff and put it in the trunk. And we went to leave. Well, the funny thing is, we come out and we could not find the car. We were both walking down aisles and we kind of knew where we parked, but we could not find the car whatsoever. A Suburban had pulled up beside of us and blocked us, and we could not see the car. So we walked around almost 2 or 3 minutes looking for the car before we found it. So we put the stuff in, we go to leave, and she went to put the top down, and the top wouldn't go down. The few things we got from Sam's Club filled up the trunk, and the top would not go down in the trunk. And that was the whole reason we took the car today, is it was nice enough to ride around with the top down. So needless to say, we left Sam's Club with the top still up. So, note to self, don't take the mini to Sam's Club anymore. Lessons learned very quickly. But yeah, over the next 2 weeks, I'm dropping the Knockville trip, and I've got my fishing trip from Relaxed Retreat. That'll be a good one. And then I've got the ADA cabin coming up. That video is going to be dropping. I don't know. I don't know if I should drop the video from today. It's pretty much nothing but wind knots and wind. So not a lot of action going on unless you just want to see tangles. And our float, can't forget. Oh, there's Chris jumping in. It's a little over a 10-mile float. Yeah. I felt like I paddled for 10 miles today and pretty much only covered a couple football fields. Public service announcement on boat ramp etiquette. Yeah, I'm probably gonna make that video just so other people know if they're new, the proper way to use a boat ramp for a boat or your kayak. Yeah, Chris, I saw that. I saw your post right before I was setting up my live stream. At least they're going to do your warranty. I can't tell you how many times I get stuff and I forget to fill out the freaking warranty card. I think it should just be standard. You buy it, you get a receipt. It's warranted from the date of the receipt. Because I always forget. Yeah, you've been laying a smack down on some smileys too. You've hauled in some nice ones last few days. How long do you think it's going to be before you get your throttle fixed? You have to send in the whole unit, or they going to send a replacement part? Well, hopefully they won't drag their feet too long, and you'll be able to get the throttle back up and going quick. That's why they do the card. Most people don't do it. Yeah. And my problem is I get the card and I put it up and I don't know what I do with the card. So what I've started doing is when I get them, I scan them and put them on the computer. So how many smallies did you wind up catching, Chris? I know I think I've seen two or three you at least posted that were nice ones. That one had to be what, 18, 20 inches? Yeah, I caught a smallie at South Houston Lake last May on a crankbait that was right at 18 inches. I think that was my biggest smallie. And then last weekend I got my biggest largemouth. I had so much going on though. I had my scale right in my storage compartment in front of me and forgot to get it out and take a weight. So I don't know how much it weighed. I'm assuming at least 3 or 4 pounds. Stranger hookout. Was that Wonder? Was it the Wonder Bread lure? Is that what you were using? That was a cool lure, I gotta say. Which company was it that made that lure? I was really digging the lure. So was that like a one-off type lure that they done, or did they do custom lures like that? 12 Oaks custom lures. I'm gonna have to get with them and see. I will do a real cool custom lure, see if they can do it. I think in May we either need to get on Tourney X or Fishing Chaos, whichever one, and we need to do an online fishing tournament. We can do it for a few months, totally free, just bragging rights. But do a lure only challenge. You gotta use one specific lure for that month when you do it. I think it'd be kind of interesting. We can do a poll and see which uh which lure we have to use for the entire month for the challenge. Greg, if you got to use one lure, what's your go-to? Chris? I think it'd be fun. No pressure, no money, just straight up bragging rights. You never know. The outdoor amputee may send you a gift. But you gotta ask Roy, you gotta watch when I send you gifts. You never know what'll be inside the box. I got Chris thinking now if he only had to use one lure. I don't know if Greg's still here or not. I'd probably have to say, if I had to choose a lure in the areas that I gotta fish, I'm probably going with a weightless wacky worm or I'm going with frog. That sounds like a very good combo, Chris. Stormy, I'm with you. I have pretty good luck with a wacky worm or a frog. One of the two. We just got a lot of some of the areas I fish. We just got a lot of grass and stuff where the frog just works. I tried everything today. The one I had luck with today was frog. I tried a chatterbait, spinnerbait. I tried. I call it my little spider monkey from 4-7 Lures. I tried the little ball with the little tassels hanging down. Um, I tried a crawfish crankbait. I tried a swim bait. And I tried a jig. I tried about everything today. I just don't think either the fish up there wasn't active or they just ain't no fish. They ain't many fish there no more. It's one or two. Yeah. My Up until South Carolina, my biggest one come off a wacky worm. I don't know what it is. The area that I fish, it's deep, but this was June last year, and it's very shallow there, and it is just obliterated with carp. And I was honestly throwing it over there to see if I could get a carp to bite on it, and wound up hooking a nice largemouth. Yeah, Chris, I bought 3 chatterbaits, 3 different colors, and I put a paddle tail on one. I tried trailers of just about every kind and nothing. And I fished brush, some rocks, some grassy areas. You named it. I hit it today. I'll have to look at my schedule, Chris. That is right around the time I've got my tournament coming up. But definitely, I'm gonna do that soon because I need to get some more river practice in because we actually got one more tournament on the Holston River. So they have two on the Holston River. And then I think we have two nighttime tournaments. Yeah, I was going to use a lot of my 4-7 plastics today, and the wind just was not cooperating. I got to have better wind to work with some of these. I was having to use a little bit heavier baits today to be able to cast 4 weeks from now. I'll look at my schedule tomorrow when I go to work and I'll see and I'll get with you and we'll see what we can work out. Because I also have to let my daughter know because she wanted to go back to Nashville. Except for creek fish adventures, and I float. Yeah, I'm waiting to get my feel for the float. All right, guys, I'm gonna get ready to wrap this party up. I am beat. I've spent 2 days outside working, trying to get stuff ready, so I've got plenty of time to fish. And I got a few things I got to wrap up before I go to bed tonight. So, dude, I'd say anybody that's going fishing with you on a float after them smileys you've been pushing out on social media, if they don't get excited, they don't deserve to go. But yeah, I got a few things I got to wrap up before I go to bed tonight. So, got to work on a few videos. But appreciate everybody jumping on tonight and chatting and hanging out. And if you're watching and you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button and do all the little doodad thingies that you do. So we're going to jump off here and get back to the grind, and we'll see you next week.